G'day and welcome to the first edition of Robbo's Wrap, a brief look at the best bits of the Aussie Athletics action from right around the country in the build-up to the Gold Coast Commonwealth Games. On today's episode, we'll be recapping the last 3 weekends of track and field action from all over the country, and in a bit, we'll be having a chat with the one and only Kurt Fearnley. But let's start by taking you over to the west to the Jandakot Airport Track Classic in Perth, and a few standout performances from the Aussies there, led by none other than Sally Pearson herself, opening up her season with a 12.73, and sticking with the sprints, Jack Hale produced a 10.10, scintillating speed. Unfortunately, the wind just over that legal limit. While in the field, we know Perth has a rich history of pole vaulting success, and it was Curtis Marshall jumping a 5 centimetre PB to clear 5.78. Only a week later, on the same track over there in Perth at the WA State Champs, Curtis Marshall produced this effort.
Back straight into that wind. You see the athletes pushing hard into the headwind. The beauty of that is they'll come on into the breeze.
So 5 metres 80 there for Marshall, making him the 5th best Aussie pole vaulter, and something tells me he's not done yet. And then a week later, the Track Classic Circus rolled into town in Newcastle for the annual Hunter Track Classic, and none better than Lyndon Hall in the 5,000 metres, winning that in 15.18, a huge PB for Lyndon. So fantastic running there. It was declared the performance of the meet, and she won this big shiny trophy.
Taking out the win, final event of the night. She's got the big cup here. What's that for, Lyndon?
I'm going to take a stab and assume it's for champagne.
While Morgan Mitchell in the 400 metres came back to taste success in the Hunter once again. This was her 4th straight win in the women's 400 metres. And out in the field at the Hunter, the crowd enjoyed seeing big Damo Birkenhead, the national record holder in the shot put, hurl out a 19.55 effort to get him yet another qualifier for the Commonwealth Games. So that brings us to the weekend just gone, and all eyes were on the nation's capital at the AIS track for the Athletics ACT Champs down there. And once again, plenty of qualifiers, and probably the most exciting race of the entire 3 days would have to be the men's 100 metre A final, including what seemed to be a 3-way dead heat. A winner finally being judged, and that was Rowan Browning, who's undefeated this season so far, running 10.23. But the photo from the photo finish had to be studied very closely to determine the minor placings, and in fact it was a dead heat for second between Trey Williams of Queensland and Jack Hale, the Tasmanian. Well, day 2 saw more excitement back on the track, and the men's 800 metres was probably the pick of the action on this night. Lukey Matthews running his second fastest 800, coming in with a 1:45.83. But that's not all. Behind him, Jeff Risley with a 1:46.33, and Brad Mathis, the Kiwi Victorian, running a 1:46.44. All 3 A qualifying standards. Lauren Wells, the homegrown favourite there at the Canberra track, running in the 400 metre hurdles, ran an A standard of 55.78. She was delighted with that. While in the high jump competitions, both exciting comps in the women's, Nicola McDermott edging out Eleanor Patterson, clearing 190 and having a very, very close attempt at the A standard of 192. So equal PB there for Nicola, getting the B, and Brandon Stark also having a great look and a great attempt at a 228, but he had to settle for 224. Then on to the third and final day of the ACT Champs, and all eyes were on the women's 100 metre hurdles with Sally Pearson in the lineup next to Brianna Behan and Michelle Jenica. The girls were hoping to run fast. Unfortunately, the headwind coming into play for this race. Sally Pearson winning in 12.87, and wrapping up the action from day 3 in Canberra, it was success for another Queenslander, this time in the men's triple jump, and Shemaiah James jumping over a half a metre PB to register 16.42. B qualifier there. So we're joined now by the great Kurt Fearnley. Welcome, Kurt, and just wondering if you could give us a little bit of a rundown on how things have been going with the wheelchair athletics around Australia.
It really starts. So the season started here with Summit Down Under, where we get a good international field out midway through January. My results were fairly consistent. It was second, and a third. Yep. So I'm in there, but there were some really strong performances. The Australian all-comers meet record was broken in the 400, the 800 and the 1500 by a young bloke, Daniel Romanchuk from the USA, and Madison Di Rosario, the Australian women's wheelchair racer. She is just hitting her straps and flying.
Young Dan was toweling you up, but the good thing is with Dan Romanchuk, he's not in the Commonwealth, is he?
Thank goodness he isn't. I'm very grateful that those Americans decided that they won't be. But yes, not part of the old British Empire. He was just on song, closely followed by Suzuki Tomoki, a Japanese athlete who we're bringing into Newcastle a couple of times a year, and I might have to stop getting him into the good air and the good water around the place. But he also came home strong with the win in the OzDay 10K.
Now, winner of the women's race at the OzDay 10K, Maddie Di Rosario. That was her 4th win. How good can Maddie be, Kurt? She's coached by Louise Savage, household name in wheelchair athletics here in Australia. Can she be as good as Louise?
There will only be one Maddie Di Rosario. Her future is just... I can't even imagine what it's going to turn out like. She won the 5K at the World Champs last year, and I was training with her in London, and we were doing some sessions, and I just have never seen anything like it. She's just hit a really strong patch of form. I'm not gonna compare her to anyone because I have no idea. Her potential is just massive.
Just won your 4th OzDay 10K. How are you feeling?
Really, really good. It's a great race. I love this race, so it's so good to come back out and do it every year.
We look forward to seeing how it's all going to unfold. Madison Di Rosario has been picked officially in that first squad of 14. We hope you get on there as well, mate. We'll have a word with the selectors after this.
Mate, even if I don't get on, I'm coming and running the marathon. I'll be suitless, and there'll be some frightened spectators. But mate, I'm just waiting for the name to be called out.
April 15, that'll be the marathon up there at the Gold Coast. Is it safe to say here that's going to be your last race at on the big show?
Yeah, mate, it's 2.5 years between Com Games and Paralympics, and having a little family, the thought of being able to hold at this level for 2.5 years it's really hard to get my head around. So I've always known that Gold Coast was here. I've always had this strong belief that it'll be my last, and I still believe it.
Thanks again for joining us on Robbo's Wrap, and we look forward to more rapping. You thought we were going to actually do a rap, didn't you?
Mate,
came in with his hat backwards.
I've been listening to Hamilton for the last hour. I was like, righto, I'm good to go, but no, not to be.
That's for a future episode, folks. We'll leave it there for now. Thanks, Kurt.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for this week's show. Hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're now caught up on all the track and field action from all around Australia. Don't forget, the weekend coming up, we're heading to New South Wales, Queensland and South Australia for their state championships, 2nd to the 4th of February. And then it's on to the National Champs and Commonwealth Games trials on the 15th to the 18th of February up there on the brand new track at the Gold Coast. Keep enjoying the action, folks, and see you for the next wrap.